What's up guys, King Goonsy here, bringing you another deck profile. Today I'm going to be profiling Mega Latios EX. I went the route of pairing it with bats, and if you'll notice, this is catered to the Post LTC trump card ban, so we won't be seeing it in this deck, so this deck would be usable at Nationals for anybody who would like to try it out. Alrighty, let's get started. First off, we are going to be playing 3 Latios EX, 2 of which are going to be from Plasma Freeze. At 170 HP, its first move, Mach Flight, for a Psychic and a Colorless, does 40, as well as locking the opponent's Pokemon from retreating during their next turn. And the big reason why we play it, the second move, Luster Purge, for a Water, a Psychic, and a Colorless, does 150 damage. The only drawback being is that discarding all the energy off of this Pokemon. This is a very potent attack that can help to be a real game changer. It's our strongest attack in the deck, and hopefully if we get set up correctly, we won't need to use it, but it is a very great attack should we need to get a quick knockout, or we can do a 1-2 punch with a first turn Mach Flight and then a second turn Luster Purge to hopefully get a knockout on a 160, 170, 180 Pokemon EX. It is weak to Dragon, which is also a slight drawback, but it's not too crucial. So next we are going to be playing 1 Latios out of the new Roaring Skies set. Like its predecessor, it has 170 HP. While its attacks aren't as strong as the other Latios, it still has its place. Its first move, Fast Raid, does 40 and can be used on the first turn. This is a great move for getting up quick damage or possibly even a donk. I use this as often as I can on the first turn if I can get it out, and it's just a really good way to pressure your opponent into making quick moves and hopefully misplaying so that we can win the game. Its second move, however, is not normally used, but for a Water, 2 Psychic, and a Colorless, Light Pulse will do 110 damage, and it will prevent all effects of your opponent's attack except damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. While 110 is a good number, but for that energy cost, we might as well attempt to go Mega for 1 less energy and for 10 more damage. With that said, let's move on to the Mega. So we have Mega Latios EX coming in with a staggering 220 HP. Just like all Megas, when you evolve it from your hand to the Pokemon, it will end your turn. Luckily we do play the Spirit Link, so hopefully we'll be bypassing that mechanic. But the big move and why we're going to be playing this deck is because we can snipe. Its move, Sonic Ace, for a Water, a Psychic, and a Colorless, we can discard 2 energies attached to this Pokemon, and then this attack will do 120 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon. So that means any Pokemon on the field, granted that we can attack it and that they don't have a Mr. Mime out, we can do 120 damage to any Pokemon on the bench. That is amazing. I've been looking for a Pokemon that can do a similar effect and set up easily ever since I saw G-Scope with Genesect EX. Obviously everybody wanted to play G-Booster because that 200 damage is fantastic. But I've always wanted to make a sniping deck, and finally Pokemon Company has given us that card. It is weak to Fairy, it doesn't have a resistance, but another huge thing about it is it has no retreat cost, so we can actually get it out of the active for free without having to discard other energies, and so powering this up is actually going to be quite easy. So next, we'll move on. I'm going to be playing 2 Shaman EX in this deck. I'm going to be treating them very lightly, almost as if I would a Jirachi, knowing that in this format they are quite easy to be knocked out and could potentially give game to my opponent when I play them. So I'm going to be using them in really high stress situations where I need to draw into certain cards to hopefully get an advantage in the game. Shaman with 110 HP has the ability set up, so when I can play it from my hand to the bench, I may draw until I have 6 cards in my hand. This is a very powerful draw tool. And then its ability for 2 Colorless Sky Return, it will do 30, and then I would return this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into my hand. It has Lightning Weakness, a fighting resistance, and a 1 retreat cost. So this is just going to be a very helpful tool later down the line, as well as I'm going to be playing a TNGHT EX. Very famous staple card. It has 90 HP. In its ability Stellar Guidance, when I play it from my hand to the bench, I can search my deck for a supporter, reveal it, and then put it into my hand. This is just going to be another Pokemon who I will use to get out of certain situations where I'm drawing dead, and I need to use a lighter Pokemon to get an advantage in the game. So, as I said before, I'm going to be pairing Latios' sniping ability with the potential sniping ability of the bats. So we're going to be playing 4 Free Flight Zubats. The only reason why we play this Zubat and not the newer one is because it has no retreat cost. It works very well with Latios EX and having no retreat cost, so I can just switch in and out of Pokemon. Hopefully if a Pokemon is poisoned, I can just easily retreat out of it and get into something more fresh or come back up with it. Next, we are also going to be playing 4 Crobat for its Sneaky Bite ability. When I evolve this from my hand to the bench, it will do 2 damage counters on any Pokemon I choose. This is great for helping to help set up EX knockouts on the bench with a Latios. So all I would need for, say, a 170 HP Pokemon is to possibly play a Crobat or 2, get some damage onto that EX, and then come up and snipe it with Mega Latios. And since we're playing Crobat, we might as well play Crobat as well. Its Surprise Bite ability is when I evolve this from my hand to one of my Pokemon, I may put 3 damage counters on one of my opponent's Pokemon. Again, this is just going to help to set up sniping knockouts with Mega Latios, and the numbers are just so good. So normally in a turn, hopefully I can get a Crobat and a Crobat evolved so that I can actually hit the perfect 170 with Mega Latios. So that does it with my Pokemon for now. I do have room to possibly take 1 or 2 cards out to add some more Pokemon, say maybe a Safeguarder or some other type of wall, because I do seem to get into some matches where if I don't accelerate quick enough with bats, I tend to lose a little. But overall, this is a really great Pokemon lineup. All the Pokemon come out consistently, and for the first time, for me personally, playing the bats, it doesn't seem very clunky at all, and that's so great for me. So let's move on to our items. So we are playing a Mega Pokemon, so I'm going to be playing 3 Mega Turbos, attach a basic energy card from my discard pile to one of my Mega Evolved Pokemon. This has amazing synergy with Mega Latios EX because we're going to be discarding energy off of it. Next, I'm going to be playing 2 Repeat Ball. If you notice, I really only play 2 evolutionary lines in this deck other than my 2 Help Me cards. So, Repeat Ball, search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one of your Pokemon in play, reveal it, put it into my hand, and shuffle my deck afterwards. This is going to have amazing synergy with the Bats lineup, so if I can get a Zubat down and then I can get a Repeat Ball, look, now I have 2 potential evolutionary lines to get 50 damage out onto the board really easily. So, because we're going to be playing bats, I want to play some Scoop Ups. So my ace spec is going to be Scoop Up Cyclone, put 1 Pokemon and all cards attached to it into my hand. This is such a saving grace card in this deck. If anything has damage on it, especially these little EXs, I love just scooping them up with that, just with ease and going on with the game and usually winning. Next, I'm also going to be playing 3 Super Scoop Ups, flip a coin, if heads, put 1 Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your hand. Again, this is serving the same purpose as Scoop Up Cyclone, and it will also help reset Crobat lines, so I can then play a Zubat down and continue evolving again, getting more damage out. I would like to go up to 4 on this. I would consider taking out maybe 1 supporter or so, but I'll get into why I chose the supporter lineups that I did. And then, because we need to get specific Pokemon out of the deck, I'm going to be playing 3 Ultra Balls, discard 2 cards from my hand, search my deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into my hand, and then shuffle my deck afterwards. And then, because it is so consistent and possibly one of the best cards in the format right now, we're going to be playing 3 VS Seeker. Put a supporter card from my discard pile into my hand. Alrighty, let's go down to the supporters and why I chose the numbers I did. We're going to be playing 1 AZ, pick up one of my Pokemon into my hand, and then discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. Really, this is going to be helping with picking up Crobat lines after I've evolved them all the way into Crobat. I normally like to AZ them up, so I put Zubat, Crobat, and Golbat into my hand. Then I can play Zubat back down onto the bench and continue evolving for more damage onto the bench, or just to place damage counters anywhere, really. I'm also going to be playing 2 Colress. Normally I would go for 4 ends, but I've realized after playing this deck so much, and in the format that we're currently in, I tend to fill my bench every single game, and normally my opponents now seem to be filling their benches a lot more often. So I'm going to be playing 2 Colress, so this is going to get me some of my biggest draw power in this whole deck. I will be playing 1 Lysander, switch one of my opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. Normally in any deck I would play 2 Lysander, but because of the potential sniping of this deck, they don't actually need to be in the active position for me to do damage to them. So I usually only have this just in case they come up with some type of wall Pokemon, or if I can stall with a Pokemon that they have on their bench with a very high retreat cost that I deem to not be able to get out of the active position easily. Next, we're going to be playing 3N. Each player shuffles his or her hand into their deck. Then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. Fairly simple card. This card has been in the meta for quite a long time. He is going to be seeing his exit, I believe, this summer. But still, we're going to be playing 3 of them. It's a very consistent draw card. And now, since there's no Lysander's Trump card, shuffling cards back into your deck is going to be more important than ever. So I want to play 3 of those. Next, you're going to be playing the ultra-consistent Professor Juniper. Discard your hand and draw 7 cards. We play 3 of them because it's the best draw card, and we want to get to the main cards of our deck as soon as possible. And last but not least, we're going to be playing 1 Zerosic. Choose a Pokemon tool or special energy card attached to your Pokemon in play, and discard it. This Zerosic helps us in many, many situations. One of the weak points of this deck is Garbodor. If Garbodor can shut off our bats, we can't get the necessary damage out to kill EXs. So with Zerosic, I can take out their tool card on a Garbodor. And normally, when somebody plays Garbodor, they might be playing Seismitoad as well, so I would be item locked from using Starling Megaphone. It's a nice one-of in the deck. It can also knock off DCEs off of Seismitoads or other special energies attached to other Pokemon. It's a nice clutch card, and you'll see, it comes in handy. Now, I couldn't figure out a stadium to play in this deck, so I went with 2 Silent Labs. I made this choice before the Lysander's Trump card ban, but I'm still going to keep it even after it. In this meta, we need a counter stadium, and there's not many that work very well with this Latios deck. So I'm choosing Silent Lab to hopefully shut off other Shaymins or other Jirachis after I would have played my own, or to just knock off a stadium when need be. It does come to bite me in the butt a little sometimes, but overall I see more good than bad coming out of it. As I said before, we are going to be playing 3 Latios Spirit Links. This is going to help us evolve into Mega Latios without ending our turn. And last but not least, for our energy, we are going to be playing 3 basic Psychic Energies, 2 Water Energies, and 4 Double Dragon Energies. This card can only be attached to Dragon Pokemon. This card provides every type of energy, but provides only 2 energy at a time, only while this card is attached to a Dragon Pokemon. If it's not attached to a Dragon Pokemon, we must discard it. So, the main focus of this deck is going to be, first turn, get out as many Zubats and Latios EX as possible, hopefully get a basic energy attachment to one of the Latios, And then hopefully by like second or third turn, we can get the Spirit Link and the Mega, and then we can start attaching double Dragon energies once per turn to the Latios to get that 120 snipe, and then we could just discard the double Dragon energy, and then next turn attach another one and continue to do the same. So, this is the deck. If you have any suggestions or changes that you think I should make, please leave them in the comments below, and let's get into a game. Alrighty, and we start with the coin flip. Let's go ahead. Alrighty, so they're going to get to choose who goes first. Alright, so we will be going second. Since we're going second, I'm going to start with the Latios EX in the active, and then I am going to play this Zubat down onto the bench. So my opponent starts with a Virizion EX, which means, yep, Genesect is not too far behind. Ooh, and they are going to be playing Mega Manectric as well. So this is going to be an interesting match. Alright, right off the bat, we do get End. Not too terrible. We didn't really have a good supporter to play that first turn, so this is looking up for us. We will play the double Dragon energy down onto the Latios. We can go ahead and Ultra Ball away this energy, and one of our ends, we're going to go for another Zubat. We want to try to get as many of these Bats lines going as we can. Now we're just going to go ahead and end here. Oh, we do get the second Latios, which is really great. And I'm debating whether or not to do the repeat ball, but I will, because getting that third Bats line out will prove to be essential later on. And we can go ahead here and Mach Flight for 40, and now they can't retreat. I just assume that they're going to attach a Grass energy and get some more damage out onto more energy out onto one of those Genesects. So it's getting a little scary. If they do get the G booster out on them, it will be even more scary, because now they're going to be able to knock out my Pokemon. So they're going to go for a Battle Compressor. Not too scary. Next turn, it seems like I will just Colress. I'll be able to save that Jirachi and that Juniper. Alright, so they do get the Muscle Band, so I will be in knockout range next turn, which is pretty scary going against this deck, since this is my only energy out on the field right now. Get the 70, and I'm assuming the energy will go to the Full Art, since it does have the Muscle Band, and I know he's going to want to be trying to apply a lot of pressure. Yep. So let's see what we draw. We draw a Mega Turbo, which is quite useless, so I'm just going to go ahead out and play that energy. And I will Colress, because I do want to save that Mega Turbo. Oh, we do get the Spirit Link, so I'll pop that on the active. I do have an Ultra Ball in hand, so I could go ahead and place some more damage on somebody. I think I'm just going to go put a bunch of damage on that bench Genesect with all that energy. I just want to apply pressure so he doesn't want to bring him up, because then I would be able to attack him with my second Latios and hopefully get a knockout. I'll go in for a Colress here, since both of our benches are still pretty high. And I'll go ahead and discard the double Dragon energy, and I almost wanted to put it on the Virizion just so I can get an easier knockout. And I do tell my opponent here that I did mess up, because I kind of wanted to put it on the Virizion, but later we'll see in the match that putting it on the Genesect will actually serve me pretty well. So, now with my opponent thinking that I messed up, he's probably going to try to take advantage of this situation somehow. Ooh, we do see the G-Booster come out onto the other Genesect, so I'm just going to rightfully assume that he's going to sit that Virizion there to Emerald Slash again to get that other Genesect powered up. So that won't be a knockout on our active, which is very, very good. Not letting your opponent get knockouts or denying them knockouts is what's really going to win me this matchup. Oh, we do see the Mega come out. That's a little scary. Right. What other tricks does this guy have up his sleeves? Oh, we see the VS Seeker. Oh, Juniper. Alright, so he's going to go into a really nice big hand size. And we do also see that the benches are filling up, so this is good. He benched that other Genesect, so now I'm going to be able to Cold Rest for 8. And as predicted, he is going to Emerald Slash, but instead, he decides to put the energy on the Mega Manectric. Interesting. Okay. So, I will use my best draw right here. I'll go ahead and play that Colress. So, I do get another Bat, another Shaman, but I don't really want to bench that Zubat. I want to leave that last bench space open for one of the little Pokemon like Shaman or Jirachi if I need it in a clutch situation. I didn't really get anything off of this Colress, and it's actually kind of scary. I got almost everything that I didn't need, even though I have very few cards in my deck. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Mega Latios' free retreat, go into the other Latios, and just put some damage on Vision, and hopefully I could maybe bats some damage onto it and get it going. It does have the option to retreat now, since it is the newer Latios EX and not the older one. So I'm in a really bad situation. Hopefully I'm going to be able to use this VS Seeker, get another Colress, and go into another huge hand of 8. And now that a lot of the cards are out of my deck and many resources have been used, hopefully I'll be able to go into what I need. What I need right now are some Golbats to continue these evolutionary lines and get some damage onto the field. Hopefully I can put some damage counters and get that Genesect dead. And maybe some more energies, or maybe a Spirit Link so that I can get the next Mega out. Alrighty, so we do see an end come out from the opponent. Not too bad, actually. He just ended me into what I believe is actually a better hand than I originally had. So this is good. He is going to come up and do 110. He's going to get some more energies onto that G-Booster Genesect, which is kind of scary. But I am going to go ahead right here and Crobat. So now he's 20 away. All I need is that other Crobat, so I will go ahead and go into the deck and get that. So great. So we're going to take our first 2 prize cards. Boom. Ooh, okay. So we do get the Mega Turbo, which is very awesome. So I will be able to accelerate onto this bench Mega, as well as place the Double Dragon onto the active. So if we can get a Mega Latios out, we'll have 2 fully powered, although damaged, Mega Latios out, and maybe we can do some work. And, oh, we get the Spirit Link and the Mega. That is awesome. So I'll pop the Spirit Link onto the active, make the Mega. I can then go ahead and scoop up one of these Golbat lines, so I can just get that 2 extra damage out next turn. I'll just go ahead and play the Stadium, and I can go ahead and snipe that Virizion. We got 4 prize cards this turn. What a turnaround. I was so sure that we were out of the running until just now. Alrighty, so pending that we don't get End or anything, I might be able to get a oh, we get End! Oh no! Oh, okay, so we do have 30 damage. All I would need to go into is another Golbat, and then we can do 170 to any of the bench Pokemon. So he is going to knock out the main active, but thankfully I have a fully powered Mega on the bench, so I'm going to be able to get out 150 damage right now. All I'm going to need to do is play this Crobat, put some damage on somebody, and then prey on this N. So we'll put up the Mega. And we top deck like a pro! And I think our opponent's going to notice it after we get this Golbat out. And we're going to go ahead and there it is! Thank you for watching this video. For more Pokemon action, please be sure to like this video down below and also hit that subscribe button. Also, head on over to Twitter and follow @KingGoonzy for updates, streaming schedules, and up-to-the-minute notifications of future videos.